With the country just 5 days away from the general elections, various political parties will be holding their final rallies this weekend in a bid to pitch their message to voters for one last time. The ANC will host its Siyanqoba Rally at the FNB Stadium, while the EFF will hold their Tshela Thupa Rally at the Peter Mokaba Stadium in Polokwane. Our reporter Natasha Phiri is in Polokwane, where she will be hosting tonight's edition of the Politics Wrap. Natasha?
Well, thank you so much, Mbali. And of course, like you've correctly cited, this time around, we're bringing you the Politics Wrap all the way from Limpopo and Polokwane at the Peter Mokaba Stadium. And this is where the EFF will be holding its Tshela Thupa Rally, loosely translated into English as they will whip their opponents, Mbali. Now, this is a very strategic province for the EFF. You would remember that in 2019, the party got over 209,000 votes. Just loosely translating into 14.43% of the share of the votes in this province, making them the official, opposition. But of course, right now, just to tell us about the preparations of tomorrow and how far the party has traversed through their campaign trail, I'm joined by the Treasurer General of the EFF, Ms. Ompile Maude. Ms. Maude, thank you so much for joining us on SABC News. It's been a long time coming. Can you see the finish line? Tshela Thupa as the EFF.
Thank you so much, Natasha. Good evening to the viewers at home. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Look, we've been waiting for this opportunity really to close our campaign and leave it in the capable hands of South Africans to choose the government of the people. We started the journey way back when the elections were announced. And you'll remember that we started with our phase, which was the Maihlome phase, where we were converting structures into elective structures, rather organizing ourselves so that we can be on the ground on a daily basis. And then we went to the Mamela phase, which is the phase where we're listening to our people. What are the complaints? What are the challenges of our people? Because we had to write a manifesto that speaks to the challenges of our people. Now we're in the Tshela Thupa phase, where we are now saying to South Africa, you've sent us. And this is where how far we've gone, and we're presenting to you the government of the EFF after the 29th of May 2024. So excited to be here. You can see even here the preparations were really done. I mean, the team switched off. That's why you don't see the beautiful EFF logo shining red there behind us. We are ready. We did our sound check earlier on with the Commander-in-Chief and President Julius Malema, who is now resting at home, waiting for tomorrow to come and deliver the message of hope to the millions and millions of our people here in the country.
Ompile, you've mentioned the engagement in the various phases that you've went through as a political party in engaging with South Africans. What have South Africans been telling you? And are you convinced that this time around, South Africans will actually take you to where you want to be? You've been saying that you want to overtake the DA as the official opposition. You want to go to the union buildings. Is that a practical reality?
It is a practical reality, Natasha. Look, our people are saying 30 years into democracy, they have not really felt the gains of our freedom, our political freedom. They've been promised from as way back as 1994, better life for all. But the reality is that there's better life for few, and those few is the elite politicians that you find them mostly in legislatures and parliament and municipal councils. So our people are saying, look, 30 years down the line, we're still talking about load shedding, something that we experienced 5 years ago. This ruling party keeps on postponing the goalpost. Now they are saying they are going to fix the issue of load shedding in 2025. 2025 will come and they will say in 2026.
And the EFF has promised to fix load shedding in 6 months' time should you be in government. Is that feasible and practical?
It is practical, Natasha. You'll remember that last year during the World Cup, Rugby World Cup, there was no load shedding at all. So this load shedding is actually man-made so that South Africans can be frustrated and go with the saying that says, let's privatize Eskom. You've seen the Minister of Public Enterprise unbundling Eskom. It's a way of selling Eskom. I mean, how do you think you're going to transmit something that you have not generated? So once you unbundle generation from transmission and distribution, and then you say the primary role of Eskom will be to transmit. What are you transmitting that you have not generated? So they are going to give it to private hands to generate that Eskom, and it's going to be very expensive for our people. So we are saying, our people are saying, Load shedding needs to come to an end. Our people are saying we sit here with over 11 million unemployed people in South Africa. That should actually be a worry to all of us as voters in South Africa, because you can't have such a majority of people who are unemployed, who are loitering the streets of South Africa, who are not doing anything. And even what is more worrisome, Natasha, is that of the employed people, you've got majority who are earning below the living wage. So it means even with these numbers of people that are employed, actually, it doesn't really help, because those people are just getting salary so they can go to work, commute to work, buy lunch at work and still come back home. It will not translate to you buying a car, you buying a house, you taking your child or having a medical aid, because you are earning below the living wage. So practically, we've got over 20 million people in South Africa who are actually unemployed, if you were to take the living wage into account. So our people are saying we're unemployed. We've been promised that we must go to school, and school will open the doors of employment for us. We graduate. I mean, how worse can it be that you've got doctors that are unemployed when we've got our people who are suffering, clinics who are not fully equipped with medications, who are not fully equipped with nurses, with doctors, hospitals that are not taking care of our people. We've got no land. 30 years into democracy, we're still fighting the issue of the land. Every time we go to parliament, we pass a motion in parliament, the ANC dilly-dally about the land question. So our people are really tired. They are saying to us, let's give you a chance and let's see if you'll bring back the land, because with the land, Natasha, comes the minerals. With the land comes farming. With the land comes livestock farming. With the land comes, you can build hospitals. You can build infrastructure with the land. We don't have the land as South Africa, 30 years into democracy. So our people are saying, actually, we are in a dire situation. Our situation is actually worse, and therefore we can't postpone the future anymore.
Phiri, I like the fact that you actually touched on unemployment, which brings me to my next point. It soared to 32.9% in the province of Limpopo. Unemployed people, the unemployment level is sitting at 47.8%. Now, you look at your manifestos and you've drafted a number of policies, that you want to introduce should you come into government. One of them is creating millions of jobs between the year 2024 and 2029 through the establishment of the state-owned Housing and Roads Company that will deal with the social housing and roads infrastructure backlog in the medium to short term. You're saying that this will create around 4 million jobs. Now, you look at a province like Limpopo, how does this then filter down to this province?
So, if you were a caring government, you would build houses for your people. The government of the ANC is building houses, but it's not enough. And they're building those houses through private companies. So we're saying build a state capacity where the state itself build houses, because building of houses is permanent. You're never going to stop building houses, because we give birth every day. We expand as the people. We are not the same number that we were in 1994. We grow. The statistics will tell us that we grow on a yearly basis. So there'll never be a point where you don't build a house. There'll never be a point where you don't maintain or even build a road. We're here in the province of Limpopo, where majority of the roads are gravel roads. So there's an issue of connectivity between villages, between even villages that could ordinarily then link to economic activities, villages who are linking mines and so forth and so forth. So we're saying with a state-owned construction company, you are going to employ people permanently. Not this thing of you contracting Natasha Pty Ltd to just construct a road, and then they take the money. They don't even give you quality roads. So one, quality roads, the same road that were previously built by Public Works. Public Works used to build roads. Public Works built our hospitals. Public Works built government offices. So we want to take back that role back to the Public Works. With that Public Works, that's where we're going to create those state-owned companies, which will employ our people on a permanent basis. And then our people will be able to get medical aids, will be able to take their kids to schools, to universities, and all that. So that will bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. we sit in South Africa today. This is the most unequal society in the world. Why? Because everything else is privatized in South Africa. So with the privatization, you see rich people getting more richer. You see poor people getting more poorer. So we will never bridge the gap between the rich and the poor for as long as we are in a capitalist state that privatizes everything. We need a socialist state that is going to be driven by government, that is going to drive the economy of this country, not being a security guard of the white monopoly capital, as it is the case right now. So we want the government that plays a central role in building the economy of this country, and that will translate to jobs for our people. All those people will be absorbed, because after building a road, Natasha, you must maintain it. The same with the house, the same with the hospitals. That's why our hospitals are dilapidated, our municipal buildings are dilapidated. They don't get maintenance on a regular basis. So our buildings requires maintenance, so these people will be permanent. They will not only come in at the phase of building and then move away, but also it will help in saving costs, because once you are government that controls your funds, you build yourself. Unlike where you privatize it, you give it to a private company who's driven by profits and not taken back to the people. So that will create a lot of jobs in Limpopo and in the country.
We saw the president signing a number of bills into law, the National Council of Gender-Based Violence and Femicide today, the NPA Amendment Bill, and the NHI. You've talked about, hospitals, you've talked about healthcare. I know that the EFF was in opposition to the NHI in its current form. We know that various political parties have taken the NHI to court. What is your alternative to the NHI? I saw a tweet from the EFF a day or two ago saying that the EFF, or the MMC of health in the city of Johannesburg, has opened a 24-hour clinic at Orchards Clinic in Johannesburg.
So we need access to clinic, our people. The state must take the money and build hospitals and build clinics. Our manifesto says 1 clinic, 1 ward. So the NHI in its current form, Natasha, you are actually privatizing the healthcare system of this country. Now, it's an admission by the ruling party that they have failed to provide healthcare to the people. Healthcare, it's a primary role of the government to look after her people. So the government of the ANC have confirmed to the whole of South Africa that they are unable to take care of its people. So we as the EFF are saying we want a healthcare that will service our people. We want the EFF will build clinics in each and every ward. The EFF will open hospitals. The clinics must also operate 24 hours, because at the moment the clinics operate between 8 and 4 or 8 and 6. And if you go to clinic, you are lucky, you'll get medication. Half the time, there's no medication at the clinic. Half the time, the nurses are not even friendly because they're not getting paid enough, or they just went into a nursing career just because they're unemployed. We want people who love our people, who knows that these people who come to clinic are actually sick and they're here to seek assistance, and they must get that assistance. So we need that warmth that we used to get. We used to get warmth because people are not desperate for jobs. Right now, people are just falling into anything that comes by so that they can put bread on the table. So yes, we opposed the NHI in its current form because we feel that government is actually privatizing the health sector, and we can't afford to have a government that is not in control of its health sector. The government must play a primary role, take care of its people, and that is at the center of our manifesto and at the center of what we actually pushing for as the EFF.
Ms. Mantu, on Monday, I spoke to Tato Puti. She represents people with disabilities, and she was just raising her frustrations, saying that some of them feel as if political parties have forgotten them. Political parties only come to them when they have to campaign. And you look through the manifestos of the various political parties. She was, just basically saying that they are only catered for when you speak about social development. What else has the EFF in store for people with disabilities?
So the people with disabilities are people like all of us, and they must be given equal opportunity, and that's what we are saying as the EFF. And that's why we, even in Parliament, we say we need to have people with disability to demonstrate to the people that these people are just normal. They've got a disability, but they can perform the functions that they can. So as the EFF, We want them to have equal opportunities. If a person has got qualifications in IT or in whatever qualification that they have, they need to be afforded an opportunity to work like anybody else. So that is what is at the center of our messaging to the people living with disability. And of course, we must look after them. We always say as the EFF, there are very few people who are living with disability. Why are some of them being allowed to live in dilapidated houses, in poorest of the poorest conditions? Why can't just government build them a proper house? Why can't government just, make sure that they get access to schools, they get proper access to go to universities and study and to make a living for themselves? Because they are capable, they can do that. The fact that you are on a wheelchair doesn't mean that you can't do other things. There are many things that you can do. You can still use other sense organs that you have, or even the body parts that you have, to create, to actually do the work. So they need at the center to have equal opportunities like all of us. And as the EFF, we're going to prioritize them. We are also demonstrating, as I said, we've got them everywhere we go. They are part of us. We feel them welcomed, and we promise them that we will, as the EFF, take care of them because they need to be taken care of.
And just lastly, let's look at your electoral hopes. In 2019, you received 10.8%. In this province, you got 14.43%. I know that you're targeting Gauteng. This province, Limpopo, KwaZulu-Natal, Mpumalanga, you're the convener there. What are we looking at? And listen, if the EFF doesn't do as well as they think that it will do, what then?
So Natasha, we are in this race to win it. You don't start the race to say, maybe I'll finish 4th or 5th. No, we're in this thing to win it. And we've given it our all. Really, we've played our part. We've spoken to our people. You've seen the president of the EFF. He crisscrossed this country within 2 weeks. It has never happened. He does it himself normally during elections. President went to each and every province. Within 2 weeks, he completed all 9 provinces of South Africa. He's here today. He's going to be delivering the message tomorrow. So we've got, when we're speaking to our people and when we do door to door, because our campaign was in the main, Umuntu Mtwin, we've spoken to a lot of our people who said, look, some of them, we're even reaching them for the first time. I mean, President, in the life of the EFF, he has never went to as far as Elukwatini, in the closer to the border, Oshuk border of Limpopo. Of Swaziland, Mpumalanga and Swaziland. We've taken him to the areas where ordinarily we would not have a lot of votes there. But we were called there by our people who were saying, why are you ignoring us? We're here, come. And you've seen all his community meetings were packed fully. People are saying to us, we want to give you the EFF union building because we believe that with you, the future of South Africa is bright. The sun will rise. In Mpumalanga, that's the province of the rising sun. The sun is going to rise in Mpumalanga and shine throughout all the provinces. We're not targeting a single, a specific province. We are in it to win all of them because every province is important to us. We're going to do well in all our 9 provinces. Our commissars and fighters have been on the ground fighting. The president came to continue with the campaign, the presidential campaign, and give us a boost. But also it was for him to assess if the people on the ground resonate with the EFF. And he confirmed, coming back and confirmed that our people are saying they've been waiting for the EFF and they need the EFF. So we're saying to our South African voters, it is in your hands. Give us the government, give EFF the government. We want to usher in economic freedom in our lifetime. We want President Julius Malema to be the president of the country come the 29th of May 2024.
Okay, thank you so much, Mpilemante, for those interesting discussions. Of course, ahead of the Tshela Thupa Rally that will be taking place here at this 45,000-seater stadium in Polokwane tomorrow. The program is expected to start at 10 a.m. and the party leader, Mr. Julius Malema, is expected to address attendees at 11 a.m. Of course, my other colleague, Samgele Masego, will be at the FNB Stadium for the ANC Siyanqoba Rally. Then on Sunday, we have the likes of Natasha that will cover the DA's rally. And of course, we've got our colleagues in KZN that will be covering the IFP's rally. So as SABC, trust us to give you blow-by-blow coverage of the final victory rallies of all these political parties ahead of Wednesday's polls. Just a reminder to our SABC viewers, Monday and Tuesday is special votes, and of course 1.6 million South Africans have been approved for that. Another note, just to remind our viewers that you've got 3 ballots to vote on. You've got the national ballot where political parties will be contesting. You've got the regional 2 national ballots where political parties and independent candidates will be contesting, and the third ballot is the provincial ballot where political parties and independent candidates will be contesting in all 9 provincial legislatures across the country. To our SABC viewers, I leave you in my colleagues' capable hands. With that said, it's back to you in studio.
All right, thank you so much, Natasha. That's SABC News reporter Natasha Phiri there, coming to you live all the way from Polokwane, giving you the politics wrap. And of course, as she has said, it is the final push this weekend for a number of political parties to hopefully sway voters in their favor. This is the final chance that they all have to do so.